Joined by Chris Sienko, former general manager, president of the Atlanta Dream. He knows a lot about Nicki Collen because he hired her to become the Dream's head coach her first year there. She was WNBA Coach of the Year. Paul, Catalina, Craig, and David Smoak and SicEm365 Radio. Chris, thanks for your time. So when you heard the news, what was your reaction about Nicki becoming the head coach with the Baylor Lady Bears?
Well, I'm thrilled, and I could say I was kind of in on it from the beginning. I knew that it was a possibility, but I'll tell you what. I said it in my tweets. I certainly believe it. Baylor women's basketball is in great hands for the foreseeable future. Nicki is an amazing individual and should be an asset beyond the basketball court for all of you. So I'm thrilled. I think that the fans should be thrilled, and the more they get to know about Nicki, you'll understand why I'm saying that today.
Did Mack Rhodes talk to you, Chris?
No, I did not speak with him.
Okay. Did anyone in the search committee visit with you at all?
They did not.
Okay. All right.
Chris, this is obviously a premier program when it comes to women's college basketball, and it takes a special kind of person to step into something that's already been built. What about Nicki is going to enable her to make that smooth transition with a roster that's pretty stacked as it is right now?
The first thing about Nicki you have to understand is she's a consummate professional. She's going to be more prepared than any coach in the Big 12 and arguably in the country. It's just something that's a trademark of Nicki. She will not be outcoached. She'll prepare herself beyond expectations, and she'll do it the right way. And when there's a problem or there's something that comes up or they don't win or execute as planned, Nicki will take it upon herself to find a solution to that. So when we look at the transition, we hired her when I was in Connecticut, and then I went to Atlanta and I brought her there as a head coach. I saw a lot of skills and capabilities and things that she had that made her more than an assistant. The way that she worked with individuals, the way that she listened to them, the way that she taught them, her sense of humor, her personality, all those things are good. And they were transitioned over to the head coaching side of the equation. So when she was in Atlanta, you saw the same things, but it was really kind of amplified because now she had the sole voice of direction and where it was going to go. And as you can see, it obviously paid off. In year two, I've been reading a lot of things about, hey, she had a losing record. Well, in year two, our star player was hurt and out for the season. So in the pro game, very limited by your cap. And we were unable to buy, if you will, or bring in another athlete. So we had to play at a disadvantage with 11 athletes. And then we had some other injuries during the course of that year. And last year was the pandemic year. We only played a 22-game schedule. You guys have probably heard of Kennedy Carter. She was in the running for Rookie of the Year. She missed 6 games. We missed the playoffs by a half a game. So you really can't judge the last 2 years. While you can, there's no doubt that Nicki's going to come in there and just make a smooth transition. She knows the athletes. She knows everything about the athletes on this roster right now. Trust me. She watches the game. She watches it in the off season. She is continuously learning. She's worked side by side with the Hawks coaching people over the past couple of years. A student of the game. There's just so many qualities that Nicki has that are really going to help her transition smoothly with a very capable roster.
She obviously has the college background, so she's not brand new to the recruiting aspect of it. She'll just have to get used to it once again. What about her and her personality do you think will attract potential recruits or will help in having those conversations with their families about coming into the program?
Well, I'll give you a good example. We went down to your neck of the woods a couple months ago to bring Odyssey Sims to the team. And the way that Nicki talks to athletes is the way that a mom talks to her family. It's very nurturing. It's very caring. It's very sincere. It's very transparent. And what is she doing is saying, listen, this is who I am. These are what my expectations are. These are what my expectations for you are. And this is what we're going to do together. And it's always about together. And, Odyssey came our way, which is great. And she was very sought after, as she should be. And it's the same with other players. So over the course of our time in Atlanta, more free agents came to Atlanta because of Nicki than at any other time in the team's history. If you go back and you look historically, there's very few free agents that said, I want to go to Atlanta. Nicki changed that conversation because of who and what she is. And again, the conversations that players talk amongst themselves. and they know who's good and who's bad. And players that Nicki has coached will talk to other players and be like, you know what, you're in a great situation if you're with coach. And again, you obviously need the support staff that's with you as well. But she's extremely capable, and she's very well liked, very well received, and very well understood. There's no gray area with Nicki. She's going to tell you what she wants, what she expects, and she's going to help you get to that point. And she's going to do great.
We're talking again to Chris Sienko, former Atlanta Dream president and general manager, who hired Nicki Collen from the Connecticut Sun to become his head coach for 3 years before now she takes the job at Baylor. What do you, and I don't know now that you're not there, but what has been your reaction you've received, text messages, or those who know you're connected to hiring her in Atlanta and now this next step in her career?
They're thrilled. Really, really thrilled. I've received a lot of notes, and there's a lot of feedback on Twitter and, personally the folks that I know about this and other coaches around the league. It's a loss for the W for someone of her skill set and an up-and-coming coach and someone that's really just always super positive. I mean, that's another thing about Nicki. She's not temperamental. She doesn't have an ego. She's just a very positive, caring person. And, it's a difficult thing for her to leave the Dream. She's put in the last 7 months of recruiting and working with free agents. I just left the franchise myself, recently. And so we spent a lot of time doing that. But again, the leader is Nicki. She knows who she wants to play for her, what she's looking for in athletes, how we can get them into the fold, and how she's going to use them collectively for the greater good and to win games. So the feedback's been great. People are thrilled for Nicki. She's a wonderful person. She leaves behind friends wherever she goes. And they will continue to be friends. And what I mean by that is that she makes the friends wherever she goes. And they'll always be supportive of her wherever she leads. And to go to a program like Baylor, that's just amazing. And it's a blessing, and she's a woman of faith. And her prayers have been answered to be in a program like Baylor.
Well, Chris, from what I'm kind of extracting from what you're saying, when coaches now come into a new program in any college sport, they have to recruit the guys and the girls who are already on that team because of the transfer portal. So do you believe that Nicki is well positioned to be able to recruit the team that she's just taken over, essentially?
Yeah, I do. And from what I'm reading, a lot of the folks are staying. That's really important. And again, she's going to have conversations and she's going to understand them and she's going to take the time. And I think that people will understand that these athletes will become like children to Nicki in the sense that she will nurture them. She'll always be a shoulder to lean on. She'll always have their back. She'll support them any way they can. And again, these athletes are well connected and they'll start to hear about, how is this program? What goes on behind closed door? What goes on in the locker room? How does she motivate us? What can she do? I would give Nicki an A++ on the way that she recruits, the way she talks to athletes, and that the way that they understand what the expectations will be for them by her.
When you've seen her, as in the first year, obviously she was the coach of the year and obviously won a lot of games. When you've seen her under the gun, with the game's on the line, with the board in front of her, trying to diagram plays and all of that, what is she like in that moment?
She's great. It's funny because, I was writing some notes before we got on the call, and that's one of the things that I wrote down, okay, is that end-of-game situations for Nicki, a great challenge. She loves them, and I think that she can outduel anybody. She loves the board in her hand. She loves the chess match. She loves the X's and O's. She's a defensive-minded coach. But you have some players that can flourish on the offensive side, but she really wants them to be defensive-minded as well. But strategically and tactically, Nicki's extremely capable, and that's why she flourished, as an assistant coach in so many collegiate programs. And again, her husband was the head coach, as you guys know. She learned from Tom as well, but she thrived on her own. She grew into herself, and as she became an assistant coach at Connecticut for 2 years, and I was able to watch her the first of those 2 years. It's just amazing the response and how they started to grow. In their thinking on the court was different, and she would outline a lot of those plays in the game situations. And then coming to Connecticut, coming from Connecticut to Atlanta, we won a lot of last second games because of her strategy. So I think that you'll see that she will excel in those situations. And again, if there's some plays that don't work, she's going to go back and figure out a way to make them work. That's the thing about Nicki. It's not one and done. Oh, that didn't work. Forget it. Let's move on. It's like, no. I know it can work, and we're going to find a way of making this work. And they'll practice that. And it's going to be really fun to watch. I mean, it's going to be great fun to watch.
We're going to have
I'm a big fan.
We're going to have Monique Billings on in about 20, 25 minutes. I have about a minute here, Chris. You look at what she's doing here. She's taking over a program from a Hall of Fame coach, a legend, 3-time national title. What does that say that she did not back away from that challenge?
It tells you everything you need to know. Listen, I've read something, okay? People are saying that she has big shoes to fill. Well, Ms. Mulkey decided to move on, okay? Nicki is saying, look, I'm not worried about filling in for that Hall of Famer. There's always big shoes to fill, and someday somebody's going to have to fill Nicki's shoes. That's the way it's going to work.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate your time. Thanks for the knowledge. Chris Sienko, former Atlanta Dream president and general manager, on Nicki Collen, the new head coach of Baylor women's basketball, introduced tomorrow at 2:30. We'll have her on this show just after 3 o'clock. Coming up next, national writer Michelle Vopel. She covers the WNBA, women's basketball. You know that, and we do too. And she's next on SicEm365 Radio.
Y'all listen up. Let me tell you something.